So there's this trend going on around YouTube, The Chosen One. At first I thought it was a movie, then I thought it was like a game. And I was like, okay, like what's it about? And I realized it's more of like a spirituality, self-improvement type vibe. And then they lost me. I'm like, y'all on one for this one. Let's be real. There is a upper limit on the amount of ego we can have in this world. Okay, there's only so much space. Earth is a finite space. Okay, not everyone is entitled to good fortune. Not everyone is entitled to good, wealth, success, all that good stuff. You won't have all of that. That's fine. It's just reality. But you don't just go around saying you're the chosen one and selling people on the idea that they can be the chosen one and think that it's gonna end well. It's not. People worked hard to get to where they are, for the most part. That's it. And anybody that got there by luck, I mean, shoot, the means by which they got there, someone still had to work to make that means. Right? You can't just think this life that we're in happens by a choice of words. It doesn't. Never has, never will. Okay? We live in a purely chaotic world. We all live, we all die. And you think you're chosen because, in a sense, I kind of get it though. Like, life is rough, man. I ain't gonna lie. But then you've also just got like people bringing on this vibe, sort of like an overcorrection to the problems that we have and thinking they can just calm them away, push them away just by saying things are doing good. It's like putting a Band-Aid on a burst pipe. Okay, we're gonna work on better solutions though. But in the meantime, I guess the point I'm trying to make is life sucks. Everybody's got to deal with it. And more than that, like everybody's got stuff, right? Everyone has that stuff they have to deal with, right? Rich, poor, tall, short, wherever you're from in the world, race, ethnicity, geographical location, all that stuff. Like there's still that one thing though you got to deal with. Right? Like there's just that background problem you have that you're dealing with. Everybody's got stuff, guaranteed. But how do you deal with that? You deal with it. You can't just say you're the chosen one because, I'm going through all this bunch of stuff and it's got to be me that makes it out in the end. Dog, this is not a movie. Right? There are people who have been through exactly what you've been through already. Follow the blueprint? Or perhaps it's more of just like a mental thing. And you just need to work out the problems that are manifesting in your mind just by way of how you're perceiving the world or perceiving the issues in your life. And just work on that. Stop working on being chosen by some... I've watched... Honestly, all the videos I've watched, the whole process of how that thing works has not even become more clear to me. But I guess you're supposed to feel your way into being chosen, but it just don't. It don't. But I can't say I'm surprised that it, cropped up in this time in mostly with like the Gen Z generation, I guess. It runs in with the whole like main character vibes, romanticizing your life, manifesting. Yeah. Like you can't automate your way through life. Like you're not a robot, dog. We're all gonna struggle. We're all gonna go through something. Like life is ghetto in a way like that, bro. Like you can be living your best life, but there's still that one thing. So saying stuff like, I'm the main character because only I matter and I can just choose the way my life is gonna end up. No. You make a dream of what your life is gonna be, God laughs because he has the plan. You're just living it, right? And whatever problems get thrown your way, you grind through it. You deal with it. You find a solution, right? Lean on other people for advice, for observations of how they solve things, for their life experience. Meditate. Think about your life. Think of what's really going on. Journal. Write about your life, right? Write about the things you worry about. After a while, all of this seems to make sense in a way that you can actually act on, rather than simply imagining a better life for yourself that will never come to fruition because imagination is limited. I find the whole like chosen one thing kind of similar to like the TikTokification of life, right? You're just being sold an idea just to hold your attention for as long as possible. And hopefully, while they've got you succumbing to that idea, the people that are actually living their best lives will go ahead and do just that. You, being sold a lie to live in a trance of thinking life can be good because you're chosen, will continue to be sad and unfulfilled and not doing things you ought to be doing because you just believe that life will just work itself out because someone who is already doing better has convinced you that it's better that way for views on YouTube, that they work hard, ads to make money. Do you get my point now? You're not some anime backstory, right? Villain on the come up. No, you're a human being. You've got stuff to deal with, sure, but deal with them. All right? Yeah. If you're the chosen one, how can you be sure you're the chosen one? Like, there are a lot of us humans out here, so if we all believed in that stuff, like how do you really know that you're the chosen one? Right? Because chosen one implies the one person. Can't really have that when you're selling millions of people on the idea on YouTube. If you feel me? Basically, when people have lost their way, they seek to find ways to make them feel special rather than addressing the actual problems. Which just brings to mind the entire point of mental health. And that's really it. We live in a world, time and age where, social media is really popular and people are just like hyper focused on what happens in this like matrix of the online world. And, you'll hear about people getting like depressed and stuff and anxious and all that. And it makes sense. If you're just logged in all the time and you never take the time to log out and go outside and touch grass, hang out in real life, do real stuff, you don't really feel like you're doing anything. And you don't really feel like you're making real connections, achieving goals, having fulfilling experiences. And so people are just seeking ways out of that to make something out of their lives because since they can't do that in the real world, they can do that in their mind by telling themselves they were chosen to go through all these so-called struggles. To most of the people watching those kinds of videos, I'll tell you right now, your main struggle, put down your phone. To the other people going through some real struggles because life is crazy, meditate on it, pray on it, write about it, talk to people about it, right? Don't keep anything bottled up. And, seek help where possible. But, the first step to solving any problem is identification. So just be honest. You got a problem. You got to deal with it. And go from there. You're not the chosen one. No one is the chosen one. But you can choose to do a lot of cool things with your life. Stay up.